right, everybody, we're back. A great show tonight. Coming up tomorrow night, Ethan Hawke is going to be with us. And get this, Neil Young is going to be here. If it gets cooler than that, I don't know how. All right, folks, you know my next guest as Meadow Soprano from the HBO series The Sopranos. Now she's starring in the title role of the USA movie Call Me the Rise and Fall of Heidi Fleiss. Please welcome Jamie-Lynn DiScala. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
It's always so classy when we make the beautiful actress walk out holding the microphone pack.
Well, unfortunately, there was nowhere to put it here.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now, congratulations. First of all, you were married since the last time you visited our show. How did it all go?
It went very well. It was, you know, best day of my life. I'm very happy.
I understand, because you were talking last time about how your TV dad, James Gandolfini, was very protective of you when you brought your then boyfriend around.
Right.
Is he warmed up to this gentleman now that you've gotten married?
He has, thankfully so. Yeah, in the beginning, he was kind of, you know, like, who is this chump?
Chump. It's never, I wouldn't want that.
Those are his terminology. That's what he uses. Yeah, but now they've all warmed up to him. They like him. And it's great because they look at me more as a woman and not a little girl.
Right.
They're not as protective.
Right, because at first there'd be a part of them that would think like, oh, we've got to take care of, you know, Meadow in almost a weird way.
Yeah,
but
they were extremely protective, more than my own father.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
way more.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, James Gandolfini is an intimidating presence. Do you know what I mean? I would not, just knowing him from the show and having met him one or two times, very nice guy, but if he gets mad or seems at all threatening, I would be very scared.
I would be too.
Yeah.
You're right, you should be.
Why? What has he said about me? That punk. Well, let's talk about the... Let's talk about the Heidi Fleiss movie.
Okay.
There's an interesting process here, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you know, there's some nudity here, but it's not you, it's a body double.
Yeah.
How do you go about finding out who your body double is? Because I would think you'd want to be happy with that person. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a very interesting process. I've never done it before. Basically, right before we started filming, I was given a videotape of or an audition tape of these girls, and it was...
How many girls are we talking about?
I chose from about 10.
10.
And it was just, you know, a tape, and they would walk into a room with literally a trench coat and drop it, fully nude, and they'd do a 360, and the camera would zoom in on their breasts and their butt, and I'd have to choose, and I upgraded, of course, but who wouldn't?
Where is this tape available? I'm just curious. Is it commercially? Is it rentable? No. You know, I know that if, this is an impossible thing to imagine, but if I was in a movie where I had to be nude, bear with me on this, by the way, and they said you get to choose like who plays the naked Conan, I would probably pick like someone with like rich olive skin and like someone with a completely different body than mine. And they do these cutaways like where I drop the robe and you see my head and then cut to, you know, like a
six-pack and a
exactly, like a completely different body.
I tried to be fair.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, you know.
Right.
If people are going to think it's your butt, you might as well pick a good one.
I think I would make that a bumper sticker. I would sell that commercially.
I'd put it on my car.
Did you meet Heidi Fleiss when doing this movie, or talk to her at all?
Unfortunately, it was unauthorized. So I had to do as much research as I could. You know, documentaries, her book, past articles have been written, and one great source that I had, where I really got a taste for her personality, she has this sex advice or sex tip tape. It's called Sex Tips with Heidi Fleiss and Victoria Sellers. And it's actually really good, and it's very funny, and I actually watched it with my mom. It was
I would not watch that with my mom. We watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And she thinks that's racy. She's like, that car should put on some clothes.
No, but I mean, she's really uninhibited when it comes to sex, and she has a lot of fans.
Yeah. It'd be funny if she was all inhibited, like, and then you take the, well, I don't want to say, You're Heidi Fleiss.
Yeah.
So she's giving tips, and it's helpful. It's like it's for women.
It's interesting. I mean, yeah. She has fans who send emails and write in and ask her questions and for advice, and she gives it to them.
Yeah. Well, she would have knowledge, you know. She's in this business,
a
and
lot of knowledge when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there like a part of you that kind of admires? I mean, she, you know, it's in a way she showed like a lot of business savvy and acumen, and you know, she had a lot of guts. Is that fair to say?
Yes, she definitely has some admirable qualities, and I had a lot of preconceived notions about her before, you know, doing my research, but I wouldn't necessarily go in the line of business she did, but I think if she would have entered into another business, she would have been successful because she has a phenomenal business sense, and she's smart and she's savvy, and you know, people don't realize actually how young she was when she was a madam. She was 22.
Right.
When she was like the top madam in Hollywood.
Right.
So
It'd be funny if she went into like managing, you know, an Arby's or something, just completely different, and made a huge, or selling at a Waffle House, and it just used the same skills and advice.
She's on the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce.
She is?
Uh-huh.
I hope this is all talked about in the movie.
It is. You find out everything. She has a very interesting history.
Excellent. And before we go, I have to ask you this, because I don't understand how this works, but there's a lot of people doing cocaine, you know, in the movie, and I always wonder, and they're sniffing this powder, and like, what are they using in that, what are the actors using? I
was really the only one that had to do the snorting, and it was a lot, but it's icing sugar.
Icing sugar?
Yeah. And
that you'd find like on a cupcake?
Yeah, or like, you know, on a cookie when they sprinkle it, and it's not as good when it goes through your nose. It's really rough. It's not fun.
I thought you were going to say, and it's not as good as cocaine, let me tell you. I was mad.
Did not give me the same thrill,
yeah,
no way.
Well, I just wanted to know for myself. I'm going to go home and buy some cookies. And I bet I'm so wimpy, I bet I would get like an incredible high from icing. The Sopranos, of course, like I have to mention. The Sopranos, you should know, it airs Sunday nights at 9 on HBO. Thanks, Conan! And Call Me the Rise and Fall of Heidi Fleiss premieres on March 29th at 9 p.m. on USA. It's nice to see you. You started coming on this show years ago, and you've grown up, and it's all going so well for you.
Thank
so
you.
Congratulations to you.
Me.
Jamie-Lynn DiScala, we'll be right back. The Living End. Stick around.